Just
Only 4
12 important people.
It is
That
Something keeps dinging. I don't know if it's your
Something keeps dinging, but it's dinging away. Well, first of all, thank you for being here on a Saturday. It might be the microphone.
Yes, it is. It
Is
is.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Kathy Van Tassel, 919 Croton
Yeah, you
Road.
don't need it.
I always like to tell you where my address is. And I am a proud member of the Charter Review with my good cohort here, Gary, who's now my best friend. I love him. He and I really form a whole human. We're two different sides of brains, which is really exciting. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this. As many of you know, every 10 years, the town is charged with reviewing the charter, and it's interesting when you open up the books to see what's inside. So it's been nice. I know Bill's part of the committee, Leslie, to get under the carpet a little bit and to see where we need to go in the next 10 years. So what we're going to do today, I think, is going to be really different and really interesting. You're just going to talk to each other. It's really what it's all about.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Before we do that, though, let me introduce my colleague, Dee.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi, Dee.
Hi,
Okay,
Hi,
good,
everybody.
good. Dee and I work together in a company called Onboard Oxygen. We are a couple of old, seasoned Disney people. And everybody who works with our company has worked for Disney. We have a lot of years, which is a nice way to say we're really seasoned.
Old.
You know what that means, yeah, we're up there. But we do a lot of consulting with companies around, around service, customer service. We do a lot of leadership development. All of that, we really pride ourselves on being classic Disney thinkers. And so what's interesting about the connection for both Dee and I is that we were here in 1992, 93, 94 with the conception of Celebration. I was actually working for the Disney Development Company with Disney Vacation Club, opening up properties. And I'll never forget the meeting that I went to with Peter Rummel saying, hey, we're going to build this community. Where everybody's like, what? You going to do what? Yeah, and here's what it's going to look like. And it really kind of goes back to this, right? So this was our old boss. Some of you recognize this guy. You know, Walt really, when we were a part of the company, Walt really had this vision right before his passing for Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. His vision for Epcot is nothing like what you see out there in a theme park, right? The reason it became a theme park is because after Walt's passing, all of the executives knew how to do was build theme parks. So all of a sudden, Epcot became a theme park. But he really envisioned this community, you know, where people really could come together. The technology was really high. You know, people would live there, work there. It was, if you ever look at some of the old footage of Walt's vision for Epcot, it's really space age. It's like the Jetsons, right? You know, it looks like, you know, you're waiting for Rosie to come down, you know, if you remember the Jetsons. So this was a quote that he had that I think is as relevant today for this community as it was when he said it. I don't believe that there's a challenge anywhere in the world that's more important to people than finding solutions to our problems of our communities. I would like to be a part of building a model community. So I often think when Dee and I worked for Disney Institute, people would say, what do you think Walt would think today? We had the question all the time. And we're like, how do we know what Walt would say? But we could probably say, you know, I think he'd drive around Celebration going, there's something there, you know? There's something there that's different. There's something there that's unique. And so it's beholden upon us as citizens to keep it going, you know, to figure out where we go. We live here. This is our community. We're a part of it. So I always like to anchor us back around this guy, right? Because as much as we know we have the Celebration Company, at the end of the day, the genesis for where we are today was the Walt Disney Company. We were on Disney property. It was a vision that was there. And that's the spark that creates who we are today. So, just to keep us fresh, the cornerstones, let's not forget these things. And what I love about these is we still see these things. They're out there on the wall. We still talk about these things. These were the pillars that those early visionaries said, this is what we want to build this community around. Now, I'm going to be honest and say I'm not sure we've worked all these pillars equally. Maybe we have, maybe we haven't. But it was a sense of place. And I can tell you every October 31st, that's true. When my doorbell rings 450 times, and I'm loving it when those little kids are here, there's a sense of place. Health, many of us go to the fitness center, many of us see Florida Health, Advent Health now. Technology, we got a lot of work to do on technology, but that's okay. I think we all can agree on that. Community, and then education, things like lifelong. We've got a Stetson building down there. How do we really create a different type of community? So here's what we're going to do today. In this charter review, and Gary can attest to this, he is probably one of the most detailed, finest people that can look at something and find it and connect it back to something. We, from the work that we've been doing, identified 4 topics that we felt really strongly about needed deeper dialogue. And so we're gonna talk about these 4 topics today. We're gonna talk about these again on August 19th. And then I think it would equally be great to say, if we can get written comments, we wanna make sure that there's due diligence around at least these 4 things that tend to be common themes that are popping up. Let me tell you what they are. The first one is the RFP process for the CROA management agent. What is the process for soliciting the organization that really manages Celebration? CROA director term limits. How long should people serve? Once we fix this one, we're gonna fix the federal one too, just so you know. So, no, how long should people really serve? What's the right decision, right, on how we do this? Is it a lifelong term? Is it a short term? How do we get more people involved? That's a decision the community needs to think about. Group homes, residential treatment facilities. What do we think, right? What's in there? And you are actually going to, when we start the conversation, get the bylaws, so you'll see what is currently written in there too. And then finally, how do you bring what is the process for bringing a topic to the CROA board? So this is gonna be the 4 things that we're gonna do today. Here's how we're gonna do it. You're gonna talk to each other. What a concept, right? Now, we actually have 4 tables, but I think what we're gonna do is do this a little bit differently. We're gonna give you 15 minutes at your table to talk about that particular topic, and the bylaws connected to that. And we'd love you to, first of all, just introduce yourself to your neighbors, things like that, but talk, cross-pollinate thinking. Then we're gonna give you 5 minutes to grab a Post-it note and jot down your thoughts, and we're gonna put them up there on that chart. So we're really in a data collection process today. What do you think? And I can tell you, has my thinking changed sometimes in the middle of a meeting? Yes, from dialogue. Bill and I had that experience. We thought we were going down one path, and we go, you know what, wait a minute. That's okay to think about that differently. This is what it's all about. After that, we're gonna switch groups. We're gonna mix you up so you've got some new people, and we're just gonna keep doing that till we finish the 4. Sound good? Any questions before we roll with that? Questions, thoughts, comments? Have a little fun, right? I mean, I want you to all walk out of here with a new friend. Okay, seriously, and invite them over for dinner, and yeah, there you go. All right, so with that, Dee, should we start with the first one?
Starting on the very first one, they're all working on the same
Yep.
thing, right? Okay.
Yep. So what you're gonna see now is actually the RFP process for CROA management. You are seeing, thanks to Gary, you're seeing the actual content that exists inside the charter. So I'm gonna give you a chance to read this, but we'd love you to talk about it, get your thoughts and processes down. And when you are asked to post on Post-it notes, it's gonna be your individual thinking.
I gave them the wrong one.
Oh,
so
whoops. Sorry about that.
Welcome back, wrong one.
Sorry, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Suck that back, suck that back. We'll get you the right
Over
one.
here, there you go.
Yeah, we don't want you to work ahead. That is my wife, Terry.
Well, she doesn't want to join.
Terry, what do you can't sit there by yourself.
So this is.
Pull up the chair, pull up the chair. Terry does lifelong learning. Yep,
I got it, but we have a seat.
that is my missus, 27 years. My old ball and chain.
Doesn't
Okay,
give her an excuse to.
so take some time, read, talk, discuss. Your
This
job
is
at
the
your
one we're
tables is to
looking
just
at.
think and listen. And when we say go, we're gonna have you write your thoughts down and share them up on the board. Are you ready, set, big?
RFP, what the hell?
Request for proposal.
Request for proposal. Request for proposal.
And we're gonna time.
A group goes out and,
Yeah.
like
In a nutshell,
companies did on how they would do
you bid
this.
the contract.
Open and put it up there. You may get a couple of my references to the Great British Baking Show, because I'm watching.
When
for
it
you.
says professional
Ready,
management
set,
agent,
bake.
it really means, because we did this down at
Bake.
Artisan Park where we changed management companies. And these are like basically,
They need more seasons.
Yeah, they do. They need
because
more
Steve
seasons. It's a
is
great
the
show.
face of CCMC
And bring
here.
back Mary Berry.
He
Bring
basically
back Mary. You
represents,
don't like
in most
Crew?
communities, that's who
It
you
just got
see from
silly.
your management company. He's our
Hey, I'm loving
on-site.
seeing some things up there. Now, what I'm actually going to do, let's wait for this group to finish
Not
When
Steve.
I say agent, I look at that word, like, I'm like, that's
And
it.
he is their agent,
Probably
but
should say agency, yeah.
Post when you're ready, post when you're ready. Yep, we're getting close, getting close. If someone wouldn't mind, taking a second and just, Terry, would you mind just reading very briefly what you see up there? Picking a few. Terry Wick, spokesmodel.
Great minds think alike is what it looks like.
Yeah, good. Well, that's the point, right?
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
hoping that we wouldn't be thinking.
so, can you just pick like 2 or 3 of those, Terry? Can you read it?
You want me to lower it?
Require an RFP max every 5 years.
Okay, every 5 years.
Start process a minimum of 1 year in advance of contract execution. Include
It's the
RFQ
details
requests for
that-
qualifications in process, precursor or simultaneously document RFP process.
I love those nice long Post-it notes. Boy, it's amazing how many words you can fit on a
A lot of
Post-it
these
note.
are saying yes, an
Okay.
RFP is needed probably every 5 years. Every couple years, research for other management sources.
Okay,
There seems to be more questions about how many years you go.
okay.
that's,
This one was a little different, it came up at our table. How does CROA measure, or the various entities, measure the current company?
Ah, that's good.
Do we have a metrics in
An
place? that
evaluation
they're being
process.
evaluated?
It's a good idea. Yeah, good thought.
Consider hiring a
Need the
consultant to
contract.
write your first RFP.
Great. Thank you, Terry Wick. You can have dinner tonight.
You can
All right.
see it. Now, isn't she lovely?
She is the best. I am a fan, believe me. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do, I hope you didn't get too comfortable. We're gonna have this, we would like you to mix it up and switch tables.
3 from each table.
I know, how does
Three
that
from
work?
each
We all end up
table
over there.
switch. 3 people
Every
from
other
each
person,
table.
yeah, I mean, you know.
There go 3, there go 3.
Good, I didn't have to.
We want, we're cross-pollinating.
We all go.
Believe me, you guys will move, don't get too comfortable, we're out here. Yeah, he's scripted.
I'll move.
No, you don't need to, you're good, you're good.
Hi. Good, how are you?
If you don't know the people at your table,
Oh, I'm Stan. Nice to meet you.
Come on, Rose.
We need another man out.
nice.
I'm making my rounds.
I live right up here.
All right,
It's just past
love
the-
it. So I love it when neighbors meet neighbors.
Oh, okay.
I feel a little like Mr.
Gloria?
Rogers. Welcome to my neighborhood.
I hear your name all the time.
Okay, this is gonna be a big conversation, folks, a hot topic. The next one is CROA Director Term Limits.
Right
So-
now it is 2 years.
Yes, you'll read it's coming, the information is coming. Think about the continuity and consistency of the community. Think about diversity and getting different voices around the table. Vision, future, what should be a fair, reasonable, element of term limits? You have 15 minutes, ready, set, bake. Would you mind reading a little bit up there?
Probably, I don't know, but probably.
Oh, you, oh wait, oh, well, excuse me.
Hot.
Come on, draggers.
Gary, are you?
Take your time, sweetie.
I don't really.
So we're looking at.
Yeah, I just happen to know,
Okay.
personally had that situation, I wasn't
Let's
aware of it.
listen to your fellow citizens real quickly here, go ahead.
Change board to 5 members, change board to 5 members, 5 members. And then there's 7, 7, 7.
What about term limits, anything on term
Term
limits?
limits, 4-year terms, 3-year term, 3-year term, 3-year,
Okay,
4-year,
good.
3-year.
Something about that trinity.
Boy, this is like very flip-floppy.
Okay, well,
Oh, read the
thus,
flip-floppy.
thus we know why it's a bit of a challenge, right? There's a lot of perspectives, and
Yeah,
that's
read the
okay.
flip-floppy one.
It's all good.
Read the flip-floppy one.
Well, just say between them, some are 7, some are 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's like half
so-
are 7, half are 5 members.
So what we're hearing there is
Half are 4 years,
composition.
half are, nobody here has 2-year terms.
Okay, all right.
I put in 3 years.
3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 4 years. 1 year
else not post?
Whatever she read.
Copying off.
Yeah, there you go. All right,
Evil.
good. How's everybody doing so far? Pretty good?
Very good.
Good conversation, love it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do, yes, ma'am?
Well, one of the things that I thought was really interesting here, whether it's 3, whether it's 4, and Carrie can figure out the math.
Yeah.
But fewer people being replaced, like you might do 2, 2, 2, and then 1, so that you never have more than 5 of your 7, if we stay at 7, are the newbies.
Mhm.
But you still have the majority of your board being the majority of the board as their learning curve goes up.
Okay, that's good. So the goal there is how do you create the greatest continuity without change? And I think, yeah, that's critical, right?
I saw the problem as continuity versus how long can you keep a volunteer in a position
Yeah.
that a lot of work is required.
Right. Yeah, I sat on a 4-year board at church, and it was long.
It's a long time.
4 years.
So maybe that's what
It was long.
And yeah, 2 years is too short because the
Yeah,
first year
yeah,
to me,
yeah.
you
It
don't know what
was-
the hell's going
where's
on.
the
and
sweet
it's a
spot,
learning
right?
curve, so then
So,
you have.
so we're hearing a couple of themes here. We're hearing 3 things, I think. Dee, tell me if this is right. We're hearing size, a little bit of conversation around size. We're hearing length, and we're hearing continuity, staggering, what the 3 processes are for, so that you're getting the greatest sense of continuity of the board as possible. Okay.
Kathy, I don't know if this is
Please.
appropriate or not. I just have a quick question. This is the first time we've ever talked in terms of moving from 7 to 5. And I'm just wondering if somebody who is in support of the 5, if you could share with me just kind of what your logic was. Or
Too
however.
many people, too many comments, too many opinions, and you're trying to wrestle them all together.
Okay.
In other words, you want us to be more like CDD.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That affected-
In one theoretical realm.
I just
Jackson-
wanted to be clear that that was
Just one
the
little tiny
model
bit.
that you were going
Yeah,
for.
just one little tiny
Yeah,
theoretical.
gets more stuff done than CDD does, so I mean.
Yeah.
So it was more, it was more of just trying to keep it more reasonable in
Yeah, just, I mean,
conversation.
everything is, you've got 7 opinions for everything.
Okay.
I mean, then if you think 7's good, then why not 15?
Okay.
Because it's the same thing, you're just getting so big that things don't get, meetings get long, everything gets long.
Got it.
Mhm.
That's all.
Good feedback.
Yeah.
Good feedback. All right, thank you. Dee, are we ready for
All
another
right, we're
switch?
ready.
So we're gonna switch tables.
3 again, but 3 different ones.
3 different people. 3 different people.
Yeah,
We have the same lead up with the same
Yeah.
page.
We'll end up with exactly the same
Well,
table.
mix it up.
That might be the goal.
Mix it up. It's okay.
Possible.
Just have some fun. It's like a social mixer.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's just about dividing us, a small group up into like, right now, this is, one more person. Yeah, but I was.
We just like getting some cross-pollination here. I keep forgetting to turn to my fabulous Post-it slot.
I don't think he.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are on topic 3. You're halfway done. This is going to be a good conversation, and as you can see, it's probably the lengthiest of bylaws, lengthiest of charter comments. Group homes and residential treatment facilities. You have 15 minutes to complete your base.
You might want to take a few minutes up front and let everybody read.
Yes, please. Ready, set, go. Hey, Dean,
Yeah.
since you're standing there, could you just maybe pick a couple to just share thinking?
Must meet all state and federal regulations.
Okay,
Must have 2 vehicles out front of their home, others in driveway or garage.
mm-hmm,
Group homes defer to the state, county, federal guidelines. I think we looked that up and that's pretty much true. As long as a home has proper certification, then home is allowed. Home must be subject to ARC and covenants.
mm-hmm.
Ask
they are.
PROA lawyer to define minimum requirements. Legal advice versus the group homes, or legal advice that the group homes must meet all state statutes. Yeah, it seems like the only way right now you could ask them to lease if they didn't get state approval before they did it. Once they have state approval, you're
Okay,
At
great.
least get newer owners and renter must contain appropriate sections of
But
charter
if they're,
and bylaws.
but if they're in a
Wonderful.
residential area.
Any thoughts, comments, closing thoughts, comments on that one? Yep,
And just something I think might be important for us all to know.
sure.
Last year, or the year before, the legislature passed a thing that basically allowed Airbnbs to be everywhere, which is why you see, you read in the paper, Orange County,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
that Airbnbs and so forth, short-term rentals are allowed anywhere in the state. This is a
Oh.
state thing that came through. This was, I was still on board, so it's been 2 years ago. The thing that was, we were able to, we complained, and the one thing that wasn't pulled out was neighborhoods that had an HOA, which was us, and very few others that were predated. So Celebration was saved. Last year, the same person who is Representative LaRosa brought it forth to say, we don't care who you are, you're gonna have to take Airbnbs.
Mhm.
Again, it's just something to watch, so if you don't like that, which I'm one that doesn't like that,
Mhm.
I believe in local rule, it comes up, it didn't make it through committee, but again, it's every year, they're
Yeah.
pushing to get
They
this
keep
to.
It's knocking on the door.
Yeah, so if you need to be looking at what
Mhm.
our reps are doing and send them letters, send them things, but just
Yeah.
to know what's
We
going on.
are positioned very beautifully
Right.
outside the back gate, right? So it's a stone throw to Disney,
Yeah,
to World Drive.
And they're
but,
definitely trying to do it, and.
Yeah. Especially with garage apartments, you've got
Yeah.
some, so, okay, very good, thank you. No,
But there is a difference between, I agree with that, the Airbnb, but when you've got, a certified for frail elderly group
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
the state, I think, does take precedence, because you have to avoid the NIMBY,
State takes precedence over everything, and that's exactly what's happening. They continue to take away local rule. And
Mhm.
now they're on the edge of saying, we don't care what you wanna do, you can do whatever you wanna do.
So what's the
That's
sense
where
of
we're
having
at.
this in the
They're
charter,
there.
according to
Because
them?
very often it gets grandfathered,
Okay.
grandfathered so
Mhm.
far, but
Yeah.
they try to take that
Right.
away.
all right. Okay, last table turn, my friends. I wanted you to see my beautiful Post-it note slide, because I kept forgetting to put it up there. So we are on the last turn. Process for bringing topics for the CROA board consideration. One more switch of the table, if you don't mind. Have fun. Do a free-for-all. Everybody
I'm
just,
gonna switch.
everybody just
And then I say-
switch it up, free-for-all. Time, post, please. No hanging chads. Post. Post. I said that this hanging chads. It's talking about, man, how quickly we forget. Holy
There needs to be a
mackerel.
filter so that
Well, it's been 20 years.
they don't wanna see it when they shouldn't.
2000 election.
Well, I'm just gonna say, we haven't even talked about the whole segment of our community that's like,
Hanging
they,
chads.
I was on the legal.
Yeah.
Mail in this lead, put it in a box.
I remember voting in New York, we had those old electric, you'd go to the.
Well, at least they're voting.
Levers. They were levers.
I mean, what percentage of our folks
Voting in
don't
California.
even vote?
Pete's Garage, right? I mean, because if you, and I'm thinking, what do I do? I mean, Terry's going, are you okay there? I can't figure out how to do voting. I mean, I'm really same.
Yeah, basically, I just said clarify.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, you're a good man.
Although we wanted to go back to this
Okay,
one,
I
it
got
came
it.
up at ours that says the
I
director
appreciate
shall be
that.
owner
Thanks, Al.
or spouses of such owners and decides it's, and it's hard. I mean, I've gotten one of these.
It's a federal.
Right, because one lady, maybe it was you said her husband's a doctor, and never put.
Yeah,
Yes. Which is
Everybody goes the same time. I'll never forget driving.
concerned about being
and
sued.
I'm trying to get on everything, and they won't let me, because I'm not an engineer.
And I was on my way home.
And I'm like, dude, I feel more houses to live in one house than you will ever design. So they just pissed me off.
Say the charter, do something.
How dare you, how wrong is that? You know, because a lot of people would say, oh, well, right? And then, of course, I was so angry in my car that you could do that. Every
When I was a kid, we lived in California when I was young. And I remember my mom
I
said.
couldn't get there any earlier. I mean, I lived up to before.
I guess
You know,
not
I
even.
mean, the people take it.
So,
I said this to my brother. I said, "Do you know what he's a dentist?"
and maybe this is.
You know, I I mean, I'm working till 5, 6, 7, 8.
Were you at Disney at that time too?
I had my own
Here at all
company
these
at the time,
offices.
doing nonprofit, and then I did
So I was
work
working
at
up through
Disney,
here.
and then.
Are we
ready?
And it was,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to Dee Burns.
No, your problem was
Madam
there.
spokesperson.
these people should.
Ready?
set it up.
Are we missing any of
No
them?
changes needed, no changes
They're not.
recommended.
They're
Present
Michael is
process
not.
is
They're very
fine, no
inconsistent.
change.
Yes.
Okay.
For clarification in layman's terms to owners, may be included in new owner's packet.
Okay.
No change required to process. Clarify board initiatives and board meetings.
Good. Well, here's the scoop too. We have another whole session on August 19th. Well, we'll hear. Yes, sir, I see a
I will
hand.
I will ask one other quick question. I imagine 10 years ago, when the last charter review was done, and the governing structure was completely changed, there were probably more than one or two people who said, we shouldn't change anything, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Nothing, yes, nothing is constant but change.
That's right.
So you either get on board or get run over by the cow catcher, because
You
you're
gotta
not
change.
servicing the community where we are now and where we're gonna be.
Michael Eisner once says, if you don't change, you're gonna die. So there you go.
Sounds
Is,
like Michael.
The August, the same four topics?
Yes, so first of all, let me pull back, and I'm gonna let my cohort Gary chime in here a little bit too. First of all, thank you for 2 hours out of your day to work on a not-so-sexy topic. Let's face it, right?
But
Charter,
I want-
not a
I want
sexy thing. However, with that said, it does matter. It does matter, and we have a choice to decide what that looks like, and this is an every 10-year opportunity. I give my colleague, Gary, a lot of credit for really going through this charter with a fine-tooth comb, and our task force. And some of us are here, just so you know, Bill, Bill, Eileen, and Leslie, myself, Gary. That's it, right?
Yep.
So the good news is, we're doing the very best we can to listen to the community, to make reasonable decisions, to debate it. So what we'll be doing is taking all of this feedback back to our task force along with the August 19th. So I'm gonna use the same sheet. So what's nice is that group's gonna be able to see what you wrote down. And we are hoping, it's a Monday night, so we do hope we get a little bit of a different vibe. And then the other thing is you can always submit written comments. Al just did some too, which are great. But we want to make sure we hear on these certain key topics. So it is the same four topics on Monday. So don't feel like you need to come back unless you're really, there's nothing good on television and you think, hey, what the heck? I want to see what people are talking about. That's what we're going to do. Gary, any closing comments from your vantage point as the chair?
Well, I'll say thank you for attending and thank you to Kathy and her team for orchestrating the event. She did mention we were having another session like this on August the 19th. It'll start at 6 o'clock. But you are highly welcome to attend our regular task force meetings. The next one is July 25th, which is a Thursday evening at 6 o'clock in this room. And we'll be discussing other things. We also have a task force meeting on August the 6th and August the 13th. Both of those are at 6 o'clock. You're welcome to attend because we do have participation as we discuss various changes.
Al, I want you to see Gary's technology here. You notice that? High-end technology. All right, well, listen, we hope you have a fabulous day. Any closing comments? Anybody words of wisdom, pearls? Gloria, anything we need to know on your end? Thank you, folks. Appreciate
Thank
your
you,
time and
everybody.
effort. You make me proud to be a citizen.